Hello everybody, this is FOWLR with a little video update. Very long overdue update on the 160 gallon fish only with live rock tank. No changes hardware wise, except that I have a second biopellet reactor to install. I'm just not 100% happy with the drop in the nitrates, and the biopellets seem to be getting chewed through pretty quickly, so I'm going to add a second reactor on there to try and beef up that. Aquascape wise, I think the last video you saw, I just had the 3 islands. As you can see, I've tried to join them up a little bit and make it a little bit more interesting, with some arches as well, just to provide a little bit more additional cover and hiding places. You also notice the fish as well. There's definitely been a lot of changes in the livestock. I had some issues with the yellowtail damsels. They were just getting too aggressive, and they're actually kind of picking on some of the new fish, so I gave 2 of them away to a friend of mine. I also had an issue with fin and lateral line disease. Sorry about the shaking and blurring of this camera. I had an issue with fin and lateral line disease in my yellow tang and Kole tang, and it kind of got to the point where I couldn't really do anything for them. And my understanding is that it's there's no real treatment for it in captivity. Obviously they weren't liking my water conditions, and the high nitrates I do kind of attribute that to it a little bit. That's the only thing that I can think of really that would have caused them any issues. It does get a little warmer in here in Hawaii. My tank got up to a level of 84 degrees over a period of time, so I'm not sure if that contributed in any way. But I actually ended up releasing the Kole tang and the yellow tang, and I went back the next day to where I released them, and the Kole tang was nowhere to be seen, but the yellow tang was swimming around maybe 20-30 feet away from where I originally released him, and he was just chowing down, just grazing all over the place, really looked like he was loving life back out in the ocean. I knew it was him because he had the obvious signs of the head and lateral line disease, and it was just the right size. I mean, you know your fish, and there was no other yellow tangs around in the area either, so he was an easy spot, and that was very cool, being able to swim with him and just kind of observe him in the wild, out in his natural habitat. It was a very interesting experience, and one that I hope to experience again with some of my other fish. Since that point, I gave it a few weeks, and I added in some new fish. So I'll start by showing you one fish that I caught wild with my friend. It was actually this teardrop here. He's adapted very well to life in the aquarium, loves his food, very healthy, brilliant colour. He really is a nice butterfly fish. I had one of these before when I first set up the tank, but unfortunately he got wiped out during my first ick infestation, you could say. When we were also, it's a funny story, when I was actually out looking for fish, I didn't know about it at the time, but I saw a absolute beautiful juvenile ornate butterfly fish, and I really wanted him. Unfortunately we couldn't catch him. We got this guy instead. The more I read up about the ornates, the more I'm glad I didn't catch him. He most likely would have not done very well in my tank at all, despite him being a juvenile, because they feed on primarily and solely actually coral polyps, and as you can see I don't have any of those to offer. So even if he's a juvenile and you try and adjust him to the food, you still might struggle with them. And as far as I'm concerned, and after I've done my research there, basically a no-go for your tank, as well as the Hawaiian cleaner wrasse. Just those 2 fish just should not be caught and sold. I think there's a responsibility there by fish sellers to just not catch them or not order them. They're definitely a no-go. So yeah, there's my little rant about that. Now, the rest of the fish that I've added since then, I've also added a male cleaner wrasse, a male flame wrasse. He's kind of hiding in that cave there, but I'll try and catch him again. There's his head there. He was a trade for some zoanthids, which worked out quite nicely. The guy was cleaning out his tank, starting afresh. And yeah, I had some zoanthids that I hand-picked myself. I do have a license for that, by the way, and it is legal in Hawaii. There are some soft corals that you cannot pick, which obviously, you know, I knew what I was doing before I went out there. But yes, you can hand-pick soft corals in Hawaii as long as you have the permit to do so. The tricky part of that is that you are not allowed to take live rock from the ocean, and most of the time these soft corals are attached to live rock. It just so happens that where these zoanthids are growing, it's very easy to peel small sections of them off of the rocks that they're sitting on. It's very easy. So I've only done it twice, and I've seen the zoanthids afterwards. I haven't kept them, they've always been for friends, but the zoanthids are doing very well for themselves. And I don't sell them, I don't have that permit, just make that clear. So yeah, we have the male flame wrasse. We also have a snowflake blenny here. He's a right little character. He is very cool indeed. He's always keeping an eye out on everybody from his perch. We also have a coral beauty here. We've also added the flame angel. Absolute beauty of a flame angel. And last but not least, I added a third Heniocus, or bannerfish. I like seeing the three of these guys kind of school together. He took a bit of a beating from one of the other adult bannerfish, but after about a week, they kind of kissed and made up. So all those new fish, aside from the teardrop, which was caught live, and the flame wrasse, they all came from Petco. A Petco store opened up just down the road from me. I'd been to Petco before, the one in Pearl City, and it was horrendous, I'll be honest. So when I heard a new Petco store was opening up down the road, I had to go and have a look. I was curious, and the guy who I spoke to initially, who was basically running the saltwater, the whole fish section, he actually really knew his stuff. And I went in a few times over a period of 3 or 4 weeks, and he really did look after the fish, and he kept them in fantastic conditions. He's been in the hobby for, I think, 25 years now, and I would say that I have a new opinion now of Petco in a way. Maybe I shouldn't say that actually, because I've been to 2 Petcos and they've been both horrendous. But this one, I guess, just because this guy runs the fish section, it's exceptional. It really is. It has to be the best maintained saltwater fish setup I have seen out of all the stores that you can buy saltwater fish from out here, and that includes the big warehouse one over in Aiea. Those of you who are local to Hawaii will know which one I mean. That place actually disgusts me, to be honest, and I'm done buying from there. So yeah, I'm buying all my fish from Petco now. That's a scary thought. But yeah, all these guys, they've done fantastic. No signs of any disease. No issues with eating. They ate pretty much the second day after they'd fully acclimated to the tank. No deaths, no ick. They've just done brilliantly. And unfortunately, I can't say the same for any other fish supplier here in Hawaii. So you guys, if anyone's watching and you work for these places, you've got to get your act together, because you're losing out to Petco, and that's sad. But anyway, that's my rant over and done with. Future plans for the tank, I'm going to be adding a juvenile emperor angelfish, I hope. We're also going to try and get in 2 royal grammas. I'm going to do a deal for some zoanthids there. And then lastly, we're going to look at trying to hand catch 3 juvenile yellow tangs. And again, I have the permits for that, so don't panic, people. And if the 3 yellow tangs don't work out, I very easily take them back to the ocean and acclimate them back in and release them again. I have no problems with that. So that's the tank. That's my fish. They're all doing very well. And yeah, again, probably won't be another update until I've added those fish. So probably a month or 2, maybe 2 months. So I want to do it slowly. I want to do it right. But if you have any questions about the permits or, you know, anything at all, just let me know. But I hope you've enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll see you guys later on. And I hope everyone had a good New Year's too. Alright, cheers.